Hi, everybody. Cassie Oelberg here from Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania. I am excited. I think I finally have the sound thing down. So I am doing take two on the second virtual crop. And this week, before the December virtual crop starts, I will have recordings up for 3 and 4 for November. I had a lot of goals for 2025, and I am happy to say I feel organized. Organized was my word. I hope you all have something that you feel like you rocked this year. And if you don't, I hope you pick something for 2026. But we're going to go over to our desktop where we have Virtual Crop 2 from November ready to go. And we're going to go ahead and check that out. I'm actually kind of happy that the sound was bad because I feel really good about these sketches and it helped me get more pages done. That was the other thing that happened in 2025. I went from not scrapbooking in 2024 to almost having 2 entire albums completed, plus ran my YouTube channel. And thanks to you wonderful people, we're over 1,000 subscribers. So please continue to share and let people know that there is fun scrapbooking happening. Because I'll tell you what, I'm just feeling happy. Okay, so this is sketch 2, and this is the one that I did, and the sound was not good. So thank you so much for letting me know that, guys. That's so super helpful, because then I come back and I check the comments and I find things out and I can fix them. And it was super fun. What I did was the same thing I'm going to do on this next sketch is I followed it in reverse for one side and on the same on the other side. So I stretched it across 2 pages and just flipped the way I did it. And that really made me happy. So I'm going to do that again on this next one. And I'm going to show you what I did using the Fast to Fab pages. So I'm going to bring this over. Check out this sketch. It's a super simple one. So when you're looking at your pages, you really just want to choose something. Let's see, cut these pages off a little bit. The picture's off. You want to choose something that you can use most of the page, but see, look, we're covering this up with paper here. We're doing the 3 different little sections. So then I can use this part for my actual page. And so what's nice when you're doing Fast to Fab, oh, here's a sneak peek at the border we're going to do later. Super excited about that. It's what's going to go across our page, top and bottom. But when you're choosing your pages, you want something that flows with what you're trying to do. So if you look at the sketch, let's make sure this is in the frame. After all that sound checking, let's make sure that the picture is good. Okay. So when you're picking your page, you look at what's happening. So we're covering that all up. So it's like, okay, so what do I want left? I want just a plain area that has some texture to it. So when I chose these pages, it was super easy to do because I can cover that, and then I can use this part for the page. And so it just lent itself very, very well for this particular sketch. So let's get where did the sketch go? Under the paper, Cassie. It's under the paper. Okay. So we need 3 4x8 sections. So I chose these pretty papers to go across it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut them at 8 inches. And I need 2 because we're going across the page. So when you are duplicating things across, what's nice is that you can often just do both pages at the same time. So we're going to do 2 4x8 because one's going to go on each side. So 1 for one side, 1 for the other side. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So this is going to be 8. This is from another sketch that we did last month. I'm going to cut that to 8. And then we need 2 4-inch strips. And when I'm trying to decide which papers to use, if there isn't something that's obviously what I want, I just go to the collection that I want. And I look and I see what leftover papers I have in those sizes. It just makes it so that I use more things up, and that just makes me happier. So let's see. I want them to go that way, so I'm going to cut it at 8 this way. You do want to watch your direction when you're cutting. You have to look at how you're going to turn it. So I want it to go this way. So then we need the 2 4-inch strips. And that just takes a little bit of visualization in your cutting, right? Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do, a little trick that sometimes I remember to do and sometimes I don't, but I'm just going to make sure that these are all exactly 8 inches. Okay, yep, they were, just so that they line up. So nothing's peeking out. These are all exactly the same too. Okay, just because we're going to tape them down next to each other, so it's nice if they line up. So what I like to do, if I'm doing 2 like this, is I want to meet in the middle. I'm going to make the blue be on the middle, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. And then I'm going to put, in the middle part of the pages, not the middle of each page. Okay, so it goes opposite on each one. And then this is going to go down, and this is going to go up. I'm going to start over here. Since this is already blue, sometimes your paper isn't exactly perfect. And so if I'm going to have a side that's not exactly perfect, I just want it to be up against an edge with the same color paper, because it won't be as noticeable. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am really far from perfect. I like to make sure that I let people know that, so the expectation is not there for me to be perfect. See, look, there's like a milli of a little tiny bit, like hardly anything at all. But even with hardly anything at all, why not have it be the same color if that's an option? And then I'm just going to go the opposite over here. So I'm getting a whole double page spread done at the same time. And look how fast this goes. And I don't have to build it onto paper, so that's nice, because this paper is already here. And now I have that whole part done. So easy peasy. The next thing I would like to do is I'm going to put my border down. So I already made one of them just so I could get a little practice. I was trying to do something that akin to braiding. And so I'm going to pull that out and show you how I made that. And if you're doing the same border on both sides, it's helpful if you make sure that, sometimes when I am cutting and making things, I'm just like, haphazardly doing things. But if I need them to be approximately the same, then I make sure that I jot those measurements down. So I'm going to need 2 1/2 inch on the green and 1 inch on the purple. Of course, I left my blades right over here. Can only be so organized. So, and I use the red blade, so I'm going to pull that one down. Now, if you have not seen this handy dandy tool yet, check this out. There's a roller that also goes to help you line things up, but this is amazing. It just slides up and down, and it works with your red, green, and blue cutting blades, and that is so fun. So I'm going to put this down. And I'm going to go this direction because, let's see, I'm going to cut and then I want to slide and I want it to still be attached. So I'm going to start off with this wave, the edges of it at the 5. It doesn't matter where, it's just so that I know where I'm measuring from. And so I'm going to put the little nubs in there. Make sure that they're secure so it doesn't rip my paper. And across the page it goes. Now I want it to be a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to go up. Look, I wiggled it. Of course I did, because I'm on camera, and that's what happens when you're on camera. Okay. So then I'm just going to go up a 1/2 inch. Thankfully I have measurements, so I could just put it right back down. I'm going to go up a 1/2 inch. So those little nubs are right there. And now I'm just going to cut it again. And you just want to make sure that whatever direction you decide to move, it doesn't matter which one, but you want to make sure that it stays attached, because otherwise it would have really wiggled on me. And by stay attached, I mean that, I just had a little spot, I didn't push my blade down high enough. By stay attached, I mean that it's still part of this piece of paper that I'm sliding on, and I'm not going the opposite way. So this time I'm just lined up on the 4. Like I said, it doesn't matter. I just want a 1/2 inch. So now I'm going to come up to the 1/2 inch mark. So that and that are at the 1/2 inch. And then this is, on this same sheet of paper. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to go like this. Push down a little tiny bit harder this time because you learn as you go. And I didn't push down quite hard enough in that one spot last time. So now I have 2 of those. And now I'm going to take this beautiful plum molten lava. This was my favorite paper. I hope they do this again. It doesn't matter where I start as long as I measure. So I'm going to start with this little crust here. And I'm going to slide this in. Make sure I push down all the way. Now, I know I did all the way, but I'm just going to show you that you can always come back across it if you don't. And I should have double checked that when I did that one. Then lift it up so that I don't have that sliding problem. And this time I'm going to do a whole inch. So I'm bring this across 1 inch. Make sure it cut off. It did. Okay. And now I'm going to move this out of my way. I did not bring my silicone mat over here. This is that one spot that I didn't push down hard enough. So just going to take off that little nubby. And now I'm going to take and flip this the opposite direction. And it's going to go like that. And this one's going to go like that. And I'm going to duplicate that border. So there is so much that you can do with this. I mean, oh my goodness. In fact, if you do CCI with me, Creative Cafe International, and you can just go look up that page if you don't and see all the fun things that we do. But if you do that with me, little tidbit here is that I will be using this quite a bit in my Creative Cafe International class because I'm in love. I am in love. Okay, so this is going to come across. And now this is just going to be my braid that's going to go for my border. So let's come up and do this. So fun. And it's just going to go right across here. Love it. Love it. And then this one is going to go across the top. So now I have my borders done. And now all I need to do is add my pictures in. So let's just go ahead and do that. I have been adding all my pictures in all year. It is lovely because I get to teach something, which is fun for me. And I get to get a double page spread done while I'm chatting with you guys. How fun is that? So this is my baby girl. It was at a perfumery where she got to make her own scent. So she had a lot of fun with that. So we're going to come across here, cut it off at 3.5, cut it off at 5.5. So this picture is going to go here. And we're just going to continue across like that, deciding where I want the 1/2 inch to come off. This was from making Thanksgiving dinner, in case you're wondering why my finger is bandaged. Thankfully, no stuffing was harmed in the cutting of this finger. That makes me happy because stuffing is by far, I'll cut it off of this side this time. Stuffing is by far my favorite part of Thanksgiving meal. And that may have devastated me if I had harmed the stuffing. Oh my goodness. But I was just way too excited to see my sister, and I was chopping. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put these pictures down. I would have brought my handy dandy new straight roller over so that I could make sure it's lined up perfectly. But my open house / Christmas crop was hopping this weekend, and one of my ladies who lives a little bit further away really wanted to have it right away, and so I have more of them coming later this week. So, you know, I did what a girl has to do, took care of her. So, okay, now these pictures are going to go down here, and it actually says to make them 3.5, but I do not want to make them 3.5 top to bottom, so I'm just going to cut a little bit off the side of this picture so that they can be placed nicely across. But I am not going to cut it back because we've got my cutie patootie husband. I do want to show a little bit more of the border. So I'll cut this one down just a little. It's supposed to be 3.5 by 5.5 according to the sketch, but I don't want to chop off any heads and I don't want to take anything off the bottom. So sometimes it's okay to say, nope, that's not what I'm doing. Oh, you know what I can do? Here we go, girls. I'm going to just slide this up a little tiny bit. See, this is why repositionable tape is so wonderful. Anybody who does not have the joy of the repositionable tape, I feel sorry for you. You need this. Some things in scrapbooking are just wants. This is not a want. This is a need. Okay, because now I'm going to slide this up a tiny bit so it still covers that seam. And now my picture is not going to cover up quite so much of the border, and that shall bring me more joy. Oh yeah, that makes me happy. Okay, so sometimes while you're scrapping, you just like find the little things that bring you joy, and that was definitely something that brought me joy. Okay, so those were all my teaching things, but I am going to go, well, I guess I have one more little teachable moment over here. I like teachable moments. One more little teachable moment. I'll show you. But anybody who wants to bear with me, I'm completing my page. I'm completing it. This feels good. I am loving getting a double page spread down every time I come hang out with you guys. So I hope that you are scrapping with me. And if you are not, that you're at least getting a couple of ideas while you watch and then doing it later, because it's fun. I love it when my daughter lets me do little mini photo shoots with her. She made her own outfit to go to the Christmas markets last weekend. I had a captive audience at my crops, so they all had to see lots of pictures of her. She had turned herself into a little present. She had a little bow on top of her head. It was super cute and super fun. So now we're going to cut this. Let's see, this is 6.5. Yep. Okay, so that means that I need to cut it at 3.25. And now I'm going to mat my mat. This is just something that I like to do. So I need it to be 4 3/4 because it's 4.5 tall. And then I need it to be 3.5 because it was 3.25. So I'm matting my mat. And it'll just help it pop a little. And then I'll be able to write about my baby picking out her scent. I think I'm going to put this over on the blue so it pops a little bit more. Originally, I was going to put it over here, but I chose the purple for there. I'm going to move this down a little bit too. So I move that one up. And here we go. This was just such a fun sketch, and I'm so happy I got to use the new, I call it the Squiggle. I'm sure it has a technical name, but I call it the Squiggle. So in my world, that's its technical name. Squiggle, which is really my personality. Okay, so then I am going to cut a little bit off of this one. Make it 3.5. Cut a little off of this one to make it 3.5. There were so many beautiful views in the moor. Oh my goodness. My band baby Emmy lives there. And so when I go visit my daughter, not only do I get to see my daughter, but I get to see my Emmy, and it's just wonderful. She was one of the young women in my groups and band whenever I was band booster president. I really miss those days. But at least I get to carry a little bit of it over into the rest of my life by having some of them keep in touch with me. And one of them, who happened to be a good friend of my daughter, lives right there in Belgium. So how fun is that? Okay, and there we go. So much fun. Loved this sketch. So happy I got to do it a second time. And I am going to go just check one more time that my sound was good before I make this be permanent. And that's it. So have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. And like I said, between now and next Tuesday, there'll be 2 more videos going up so that we can just move right along to December next week. So have a great day. Thanks so much.